After this, I feel like I'd be getting as far away from the Black Lagoon as possible. Welcome to WWH. My name is Andrew Dreamer. Thank you for joining us again for what is shaping up to be an amazing show. It is officially October. It's my favorite month of the year. It's spooky season, it's Halloween, and it also happens to be my birthday month. But there are a lot of reasons to be excited and a lot of things to look forward to. Here at WWH, October is Universal Monster Month, and that begins today. The first of the films that we'll be looking at is also the latest one as far as release dates go. So let's take a look at The Creature from the Black Lagoon. And just because it's the new kid on the block doesn't mean that there's no merit. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Donnie Wahlberg. You're awesome, man. Creature from the Black Lagoon was released in 1954 and tells the story of a group of scientists who encounter this amphibious humanoid creature in the waters of the Amazon. The aptly named Gillman just wants to be left alone, honestly, but the scientists have other plans. This creature feature was directed by Jack Arnold and was filmed in one of the earlier versions of 3D. It stars Richard Carlson, Julie Adams, and Richard Denning, while the creature was portrayed by two actors, Rico Browning for the underwater scenes and Ben Chapman for the land scenes. Another tidbit of information, at one point John Carpenter was set to remake this film in the 1990s, but those plans fell through. Personally, I would have loved to see his interpretation of this story. I think it really could have been great, especially knowing that special effects legend Rick Baker was even hired for the project. It makes me sad that we never got to see this film. But let's not waste any more time here and head down to the ring to get this show underway. The film starts with a geology expedition to the Amazon. While working, the team finds a fossil of a hand with webbed fingers, providing a link between land and sea animals.
What that is, Dr. Maria?
I don't know, Luis. I have never seen anything like this before.
The expedition leader, Dr. Carl Maya, leaves his two assistants behind while he takes a trip back to the Marine Biology Institute.
I'm going to Morajo Bay to the Institute. You two are to wait here in the camp.
You be gone long?
Long enough to find out what this is.
There, he reunites with his friend and former student, Dr. David Reed, who has been at the Institute studying lungfish along with his girlfriend and fellow scientist, Kay. David convinces his boss, Dr. Mark Williams, to fund an expedition to return to the Amazon to search for the remainder of the skeleton.
With that knowledge, perhaps we can teach men to adapt themselves to some new world of the future.
Marky Mark is not the best guy. He's always out for fame and fortune, and he doesn't actually care about the science or the discoveries.
If I sound brash and more like a banker than a scientist, try to remember that it takes money to run an institute like ours. A find of any real importance can be of great financial value to us also.
Back at the camp, an amphibious humanoid of the same species as the hand they found gets curious about the camp. His sudden appearance frightens Carl's assistants, so they panic and attack. The enraged creature kills the both of them. David and his group, including Carl, Mark, Kay, and another scientist named Dr. Edwin Thompson, board the ship Rita, captained by a man named Krusty Lucas. That's literally his name in the credits. When they arrive, they discover the dead bodies of Carl's assistants. The crusty one suggests that they were killed by a jaguar, but everyone else is unsure. They begin to search the area for the rest of the fossilized remains, but their efforts are met with no reward. Mark is ready to give up, but David suggests that maybe thousands of years ago, the part of the embankment that contained the fossils actually fell into the water and was swept downstream. Carl says that the tributary empties into a lagoon. The crazy crusty captain calls it the Black Lagoon, a paradise from which no one has ever returned.
My boys call it the Black Lagoon, the paradise. Only they say nobody has ever come back to prove it.
The group of scientists decide to take the risk anyway, unaware that the Gillman has been watching them from nearby. The creature becomes entranced by Kay and follows the Rita all the way downstream into the Black Lagoon. Once they arrive, David and Mark go diving to collect rock samples from the lagoon floor. After they return, Kay goes for a swim and is unknowingly stalked underwater by the creature. He gets caught up in one of the ship's drag lines, and even though he escapes, he leaves behind a claw in the net, revealing his existence. Another encounter with the Gilly Boy claims the life of Lucas's crew. The creature then attempts to abduct Kay, but is captured instead and locked in a cage aboard the Rita.
Don't kill him! What happened? Give me the net.
During the night, the creature escapes, attacking Edwin in the process. Kay hits the creature with a lantern, scaring him away, but Edwin is pretty badly injured. After this, David says that they should return to civilization, but Mark, now obsessed with either capturing or killing the Gill-Man, objects adamantly, even grabbing Lucas by the collar to show his authority. The crusty captain pulls a possibly crusty knife on Mark and says he is in fact not in charge. As they try to leave, they find that the Gill-Man has blocked their exit with debris. David decides to go in the water to clear it, and Mark wants to go too, but to capture the creature. He even punches David, but you can't keep a hero down, so he tackles Mark and punches him, incapacitating the annoying financier. While the rest of the crew attempts to remove the debris, Mark jumps in the water and tries to capture the Gill-Man, but gets killed in the process, his body floating up to the surface of the water. The creature then climbs aboard the boat while everyone else is still distracted and sneaks up on Kay. She screams as he grabs her. Remember, he just wanted Kay to love him. Even amphibious humanoids deserve love. Just maybe ask her if she feels the same way, bro.
Hey! He got her! He got her! No, don't shoot! Don't shoot! Puppy, you might hit Kay!
He then carries her away to his evil lair. Well, it's not really an evil lair. It's more of a cavern, most likely being the place that he lives. David, Krusty Lucas, and Carl chase after them and eventually catch up, where they shoot the Gill-Man a whole bunch and rescue Kay. The creature retreats into his happy place where his body sinks down into the depths. That is how the movie ends. And no one ever returned to the Black Lagoon again, right? Actually, they did, and big shocker, it didn't turn out very well. Creature from the Black Lagoon had 2 sequels, which we may look at in the future, and like I mentioned earlier, was supposed to get a remake, but it never came to fruition. Dang it, I really wish we got to see that movie. I also want to say that when this film was released, Bud Westmore was credited with the design of the creature, but it was actually a woman named Millicent Patrick who came up with the design. And on top of that, she was actually the first female animator at Disney, which I think is pretty freaking cool. It's just nice to see someone finally get the credit that they deserve. Look, I love this movie. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. It's actually one of my favorite Universal Monster movies, and that's why I chose to cover this one first for Universal Monster Month. It does, however, have some issues that I will get to in just a few minutes, but we're going to start with the positives because I think it's important to put that best foot forward. Before we do that, though, we do have to take a quick break, so stick around and we'll be right back with some more WWH action. Have you ever thought that you're not really reaching your full potential in the gym? Well, I have the perfect solution for you. Check out redcon1.com and check out their line of products. They have everything you could possibly want to enhance your overall gym experience. They have protein, they have different protein snacks, they have pre-workouts, they have non-stim pre-workouts. Anything you could possibly want, they will have. And they're here to help you achieve the highest state of readiness. So, if you go check out their website, put a few things in your cart, and use code AndrewDreamer at checkout, you will receive 20% off your entire order. That's a really good discount. Like I said, use code AndrewDreamer at checkout for 20% off your entire order. Tell them that I sent you. Use that code and get some really good products. We are back. Let's not stand on ceremony here, Mr. Wayne. We're heading back down to the ring. For the positives of this classic creature feature, let's start with the runtime. This movie clocks in at 1 hour and 19 minutes. I love that these older Universal monster movies typically have pretty short runtimes. I like when a movie doesn't add a ton of extra stuff just to make it longer. There is absolutely nothing wrong with just telling your story and getting out of there. Also, I can't say enough about the design of the Gillman. It looks really good and also really scary. The concept of the story is well thought out, and unlike most of the Universal monsters, it's actually a completely original creation. The script is well written, and the film is beautifully shot, in my opinion. The cast is filled out with very talented people who give it their all. I could honestly go on all day with reasons I like this movie, but I'm going to leave it there. Let me know down in the comments what you like about Creature from the Black Lagoon. Let's move on now. On the negative side of things, the music. It's essentially one piece of music that is played over and over and over. It was composed by Henry Mancini, who had an amazing career spanning over 40 years, but it just gets annoying after the first few times you hear it. And it's not even a bad piece of music, it's just overused. Maybe I'm nitpicking, but I just had to mention that. Another issue I have is just how many sequences take place underwater. It's a pretty significant portion of the film, and personally, I'm not a huge fan of underwater scenes in movies, but that's just personal preference though. Also, the character of Dr. Edwin Thompson is pretty forgettable. His only purpose in this movie is to be attacked by the creature. Other than that, you honestly kind of forget that he's even there. I think those are really the only negatives I have for this movie. If you think I left any out, let me know down in the comments. All in all, this is a really good movie. And like I said, there are 2 sequels which, to me, do not live up to this first film. But putting this film in a bubble, it's an amazing story that accomplishes its goal. So if you haven't seen it, check it out, especially if you like older monster movies. It's time to wrap up our show now. Thank you for joining us today, and I sincerely hope that you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it already. Turn your notifications on, leave a like, leave a comment. Next time on WWH, we'll be looking at Frankenstein. I'm really excited to cover that movie, so make sure you're looking out for that one. But until then, my name is Andrew Dreamer, and this is Wrestling with Horror.